this is a deep and entrenched practice in our police. It's not one incident. It's not two incidents. It has been going on for a long time. It needs to be put an end to when? Now! Number 4, we are asking the police to respect the role of lawyers. As lawyers, we play a very different role. We are there to represent our clients. We are asking them to respect that role. And lastly, number 5, we are asking the police to be trained in what their constitutional mandate is and the fact that they are required to uphold our rights and our clients' rights and every citizen of Zimbabwe's rights. Is that too much to ask for? No! So let's go and hand it to the minister.
As the court pleases.
Police playing their role, fulfilling their mandate of ensuring that anyone exercising their rights, they exercise so in a peaceful environment where they actually secured by the police, not where they fall victim to violations perpetrated by the police. We are also calling on relevant authorities, the Ministry of Home Affairs and the Commissioner General of Police, to ensure that when lawyers are carrying out their constitutional mandate, they are allowed to do so without fear of being attacked by the police or without being denied that right to represent clients of their choice who have actually contracted them as lawyers. Particularly in human rights cases, we have seen lawyers being denied access. And we've recently seen a lawyer being attacked for requesting for access to be able to represent a client who was detained at one of the police stations in Harare. So it's a concern to us. Zimbabwe has ratified several human rights instruments other than the Constitution that clearly states the rights of lawyers, the rights of anyone who comes in confrontation with the law, who is in the custody of the police and other law enforcement agents, that they do have the right to receive legal representation, and that they should be able to do so in an environment that is very secure and safe.
The attack, is it last week or so? How isolated is it?
On the lawyers or on the citizens?
On the lawyers.
Well, we have had, in the last few years, one of the main challenges has been sometimes where lawyers are not immediately granted access to their clients. The Constitution is very clear. When you're arrested, you have a right to receive legal representation when you get arrested. So that's one of the attacks in terms of the way lawyers would really want to be able to carry out their work, where they are not allowed to access their clients. But the attack last week, a physical confrontation, was a second attack this year. The same lawyer was attacked when he was representing his clients from a trade union representing Rural Teachers Association people a couple of months ago. And when he went to the police station to represent one of the leaders, he was attacked again. So we are really concerned that there's this targeting of lawyers. And in this case, it's the same lawyer who is getting attacked. And if there are any concerns that the police have around the conduct of lawyers, they know which organization they should reach out to, because lawyers are regulated by the police. But if the lawyer is carrying out his mandate, then we expect the police to be able to cooperate. And for us, when we do have issues with the police, we also have a way of expressing our concerns in terms of the procedures that they have. But one of the main concerns that we have is that the Constitution is very clear in terms of Section 210 that there should be an independent civilian oversight of the police that receives complaints against members of the state security that violate human rights or that commit acts of misconduct. And they are yet to set up that mechanism. So we are calling on the state to implement that provision of the Constitution with immediate effect.
Say there's an increase in the past weeks of violation of human rights.
Our real concern has been the attacks, the wanton attacks on citizens who are suspected either of protesting or citizens who are just going about their business, where they are suspected activities, whether it's a peaceful protest or where they're actually practicing a trade of their choice, vending, where we've seen acts of violence, excessive use of force to either disperse or to try and subdue those citizens. In terms of the Constitution, it's very clear when someone has committed a crime, there's a procedure that should be followed in terms of advising them of the crime they've committed, the charges they are facing, and they should be taken in a dignified manner to be detained or for further processing at the police station, and they should be granted access to a lawyer of their choice, immediate access. And also they should be granted one telephone call to be able to even call their relatives or medical doctors if they need them. So we are really concerned that these violations, especially the attacks on citizens, the excessive use of force, acts of torture, they've really been on the increase. And we would really want to appreciate the role that the media has played in terms of capturing some of these acts of violations and also disseminating the information and exposing the perpetrators. But we are concerned that so far no one has been held accountable. The perpetrators have not yet been held accountable for the acts of brutality against citizens and human rights lawyers.
We're into the third year of the so-called Second Republic. How would you compare what has happened during the past 2 years to the 37 years of Mugabe?
We are really concerned that there's been an escalation in terms of violations, especially if you look at 1 August, where I think it was the first time that we actually saw the military opening fire on unarmed civilians and actually in the process killing at least 6 civilians, although there is no official figure that has actually been confirmed by other stakeholders. This is the figure from governments. There may be more people that were actually victims of that. So it's a real concern that the acts of violence and brutality have escalated. And we have also seen that in the last year, basically some protests have actually been banned, even in the instances where those who have convened have actually tried to follow the procedures of the law. So it's a concern for us.
But there's also the issue of impunity.
Yes.
Nothing or no officer or soldier has been charged for the violations against civilians. Don't you think you're targeting or protesting against the wrong people? You should be protesting against the government, the officials.
Well, basically, we're actually protesting against the people who are actually responsible for instituting the disciplinary proceedings against the police. The police actually have a procedure that is actually there at the moment where they can actually discipline officers who commit certain violations. And we have also been concerned that when someone is tortured, they should be able to actually file a police report, and the police should be the ones who investigate before the case is taken up by the Prosecutor General. So we are protesting against the first line of where the accountability should be starting from, in terms of investigating, processing the dockets, and then moving it forward for prosecution.
Are you aware of any cases that are under investigation at the moment?
We have actually filed reports on behalf of those that have been abducted in the last 5 or so months, but we are yet to see any progress. We have been communicating with the police, with the clients, but we are yet to see them apprehending the suspects and prosecuting them. But on the other hand, lawyers have also been filing civil claims against the responsible police officers where they can be identified, or the Minister of Home Affairs, and even the Commissioner General of Police.
We are seeing today the police